98 years walking on this earth and over 70 of those working in the industry that he and we all love. How do you talk about a man who had his hands in everything and gave us so much? He was an honorary Oscar winner and heavily involved in the Academy itself. He gave us New Concord and New World Pictures. Roger Corman was a master of the independent and low-budget film. He gave countless actors, writers, and directors their start and was still making appearances right up to his passing. There is so much to go over, but I think that the best way to honor the man is to bring this video in on time and under budget. Bonus Corman points if we can reuse some of the footage from this one in another one of our videos.
By mistake, he actually made a good picture every once in a while. I was never in it.
I can't think of a more fitting way to honor the man who would do just the same. We're going to break Corman down into three main categories: our favorite movies he produced, our favorite movies he wrote or directed, and our favorite on-screen appearances, starting with that last one because the man wasn't known as an actor. While he was never and would never be the star attraction, he did enjoy showing up in some of the movies by directors that got their starts with him. Some of the best of these include his appearance as a senator in The Godfather Part 2, his unforgettable turn as man in phone booth in The Howling, and of course as FBI Director Hayden Burke in The Silence of the Lambs. Joe Dante, Francis Ford Coppola, and Jonathan Demme have had huge careers, but John Carpenter, Wes Craven, and Ron Howard have also used the Pope of Pop Cinema in their movies. As a producer, he is unmatched in both his output and range of what types of movies he would put his name on. Horror, sci-fi, comedies, westerns, dramas, and all the standard genre fare would have movies from Corman to be found, but he also had so many others. You want women in prison movies? He has you covered. Beatnik horror? He has you covered. Sword and sandal movies? Roger Corman is your guy. He was also a fan of movies from all over the world and was instrumental in showcasing powerhouse directors from everywhere across the globe. He helped get movies to American audiences from the likes of Kurosawa, Fellini, and Bergman. This was huge for both us as audiences and just how foreign movies were marketed in the US in general. But perhaps his biggest contribution as a producer may have been understanding the market and how to capitalize. While he was very good at making low-budget movies, he was also very passionate about being successful. He jumped on the sci-fi, aliens, and western wagons as early as the 50s because those were the movies that were doing well. As horror turned to full color with blood, there was Corman to give us the thrills and chills we wanted, and that would be the case all the way through the excess of the 80s, where his movies would give horror fans the blood, kills, and nudity we were all looking for. When Star Wars was huge, we would get Star Crash and Battle Beyond the Stars. When slashers hit it big, we were gifted Slumber Party Massacre. When dinosaurs were the big thing in 1993, well, I have a Carnosaur for that, and the list just goes on and on. The man had nearly 500 producing credits in his career, and whether or not you knew it, I guarantee you experienced a Roger Corman produced movie at some point in your life.
Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some.
The final leg of this journey is Corman as the writer and director. And while that may be much, much smaller than his role as a producer, it's no less important. While he stepped behind the camera for all manner of genres like westerns, sex comedies, and gangster films, it was his work with horror and sci-fi that will always stand out when discussing his contributions as a director. He was there the day the world ended, or when crab monsters attacked. He was the one who was behind it conquering the world and gave us a War of the Satellites. While they're often silly to look at, they have charm for days and can be enjoyed by anyone at any time. With all that being said, where he lives in the hearts of us horror fans are the collaborations he had with two other masters of the genre, Edgar Allan Poe and Vincent Price. While he made things like The Terror or his final directorial effort, Frankenstein Unbound, throughout his career, it was his 8-film run from 1960 to 1964 that almost all starred Vincent Price that have him stand out in our memories. We either watched these as kids on TV with our parents or discovered them as they were put out in various collections on DVD. For many of us, it was an introduction to the people behind them like Price, Poe, Corman, or even Karloff and Peter Lorre. They look incredible and are well written, shot, and mostly well acted. The production of that many quality horror titles from the same team is unheard of and still unmatched today. Roger Corman was a one-of-a-kind who was as good a businessman as his movies were varied and fun. I'll leave you with a quote from the man that shows both a great understanding of the industry and a plea to not let him be the last great independent filmmaker. The film industry will always exist, but it will no longer be the film industry. It will be digital or possibly virtual reality or holograms. I think of it as an industry, a business, and it's an art form. Today, the business end of it has become more powerful than the art form. I think we need to save it. Although it's making real money and it's not in real trouble, we need to reinvigorate it to remember that this is an art form as well as a business. You can't continually spend 100 or 200 million on a superhero picture. You've got to at least let some films come through that are a little closer to art. As I look at the poster of The Terror that one of my best friends got me, that in fact hangs above the desk where I do all my writing, all I can think to say is thank you, Roger. You were a true artist in every sense of the word.
I think it's very important to let the generation of today know who he is.
The movie lovers of the planet Earth, thank you.
I'm gonna cry now. Not just me, who's very sentimental, but these other people also love him.